There's just nothing like food and family. And at Rossetti Restaurant, you can get a little bit of both.
Whatever you want, you ask for me. This is the best. You guys are the best of health to you and your family.
Every night, the Rossetti brothers treat customers like family in their big, spacious restaurant with high ceilings, an open kitchen, and a lively bar.
Anytime someone comes through our door, they are our friends, they are our family, and that's the way it should be.
Bobby Rosetti, along with his brother Stephen, opened Cafe Rosetti in Winthrop over a decade ago. But these two fun-loving chefs longed for a bigger space, so they opened up this lavish location in Lynn and brought Bobby's son Chris in to run the front of the house.
He's worked at some of the best restaurants in and around Boston, so he comes from a little bit different path than myself and my brothers. Honestly, I don't think that we could have done this without his experience and what he can bring to the table for us.
So while Chris is out front making sure everyone is comfortable, the brothers are busy back in the open kitchen cooking up traditional favorites like shrimp scampi and other dishes that you've probably never tried.
And that's the whole point of our menu, is to make sure that there's something for everybody. You can have that chicken parm that's traditional, but you can go all the way to a pan-seared haddock with a sweet pea and sherry butter risotto.
Pork chop coming up.
There's a New York strip aged for 42 days before grilling it up perfectly and preparing it mafiosa style.
Mafiosa is one of those names that my dad came up with, and what we do, it's Marsala wine infused with our marinara sauce, and then we finish that with some capers, Vidalia onion, fresh mozzarella, and prosciutto di Parma. It really is an Italian traditional steak. It's fantastic. It's an awesome dish.
And while you may have seen pork chops with vinegar peppers in other Italian restaurants, you've never seen one made the way the Rosettis do it.
My father has been cooking for me since I was a kid, and I don't want to say, oh, he's got the best pork chop, but it really is one of the best pork chops I've ever had. It's a 16-ounce pork chop. We brine it for 24 hours, so it's just so tender. And instead of just putting vinegar peppers, we make a vinegar pepper sauce ourselves, and you get so many different flavors. It has been one of my favorite dishes since I was a kid.
Another one of Chris's favorite foods actually isn't Italian, but he had to have it on the menu. So he convinced his father to create the perfect burger.
My son actually turned me on to burgers. I wasn't a big burger person at all as far as going out to eat one or even as a chef.
We went through 16 different blends of beef to get to that burger. It's short rib filet mignon and Wagyu beef chuck all ground up into an amazing burger. It's house-cut slab bacon. We finish that with balsamic reduced caramelized onions and Vermont aged cheddar on a grilled brioche bun. It's absolutely fantastic.
One dish the brothers have been making for decades is their mouth-watering meatballs, of course using a recipe passed down from their mother and served over a simple marinara.
They're so moist in the middle, they're just so flavorful, they have a nice crispy shell. We actually pan-sear, and they are just fantastic.
Other small plates include the prosciutto-wrapped asparagus with balsamic reduction, an overloaded antipasto board, and the sophisticated soft-shell crab. And then there's the shrimp scampi pizza that's absolutely ideal for sharing.
You get that crunch factor from the dough, the shrimp, it melts right in your mouth. You have the arugula that gives a pepperiness to it. It just really comes together well, and of course, garlic.
And while some may go the traditional route for dessert and order up a decadent flourless chocolate cake, indulging in a cocktail like the Cranberry Mule might be the best way to go. And that's because Chris is crazy about beverages. So his bar staff does everything from making their own bitters to cutting their own ice with a chainsaw for the perfect cube.
You get a cube about this big in specific drinks. It won't melt as fast in the cocktail, but this ice is cut from a 5-pound block, and what comes out is a beautiful, crystal clear piece of ice.
You gotta admit, that's pretty cool. And from the cocktails to the food to the prices, value is the Rosetti family's middle name.
I think one of the most important things, not only to myself, but especially to my dad and my uncle, is to give a value on the food that we do. There's some places in Boston that you can go and you'll have a great experience, but at the end of the meal, you get a bill that's just way out of proportion. We like to give a great value on every single meal that we serve.